Okay, I've decided. Let's talk about basic cards. So when you first start playing Chronicle, you'll only have access to a very limited number of cards. So I thought it would be good to go over what my thoughts are on the basic cards that you can start the game with. So I'm going to start off with the general cards you can put in any deck. The first one, lose a weapon, gain 3 money. So I put this in all my decks where I need some more money. It's a good quick way to get some money, especially if you don't have weapons in your deck. Currently my strongest deck is Raptor, where I haven't got any weapons in my deck. It's a lot less powerful in decks where you have a weapon, but as long as you can get it early in the game or at a point where you currently don't have a weapon, because you can often work your game in a way where you don't mind losing your weapon, or you know you're not going to have a weapon at a particular point in the game, and obviously you don't have one at the start, so it's a very good first card. You see a lot of people play that as their first card. It's a quick way to get your money up, so it's a really good card. Put it in a lot of decks. So the next card is very no, actually that one's not a base card, sorry, we'll skip over that one. Yeah, so this one's a base card. The duel tournament. So draw a card, always good. Free draw of a card, great. Card draw is very powerful. And battle rival. So this is obviously the risky point of the card. Sometimes it's good to battle your rival. If you do more damage to them than they do to you, or you know that you will likely kill them, battle your rival. Yes, good. But if they have a weapon that is powerful, or they have more base attack, or basically they're going to do more damage to you, battling your rival is a downside, unless you're trying to mess up their durability on their weapon. Because it does reduce the durability of their weapon by 1, because they've hit you once with it, and they may be counting on the fact they have a particular amount of durability. So good side, downsides to that card, but the card draw is very powerful, especially for a free card. Early in the game, when you both have the same amount of attack, a good card to play. This is a free weapon. Weapons are good. This one obviously increases your attack by 1 for 2 hits, so often a lot of the cards, especially near the start of the game, the really powerful cards are 3 cards. Again, I've built a deck around a lot of 3 health cards, and this would get you into the 3 range temporarily. So it's okay. It's an okay card. It's not a great card, though. I haven't put it in any of my decks, but I can see why you would put it in a deck, but it's very situational to your deck. But generally, you want a better weapon than a 1/2. But it's free, so maybe. That's not. These 2 aren't base cards, so you can tell they aren't base cards because they've got these symbols on. Let me just check that I'm not, because some of the cards I haven't got symbols on get unlocked. As you level up your characters, but I think those will all go into character specific cards, so I think we're fine at the moment. Adamant armor. You 1 money for 5 armor. Good for armor. A deck where you need a bit of armor, or a deck where your armor is key, which Raptor can have decks where armor is key. So yeah, good cheap way to get some armor. Obviously you need 1 money for it. So generally you want to build your deck so you have more money coming in than you would spend. So if you got all your money from your deck in at once, and you then bought all of your cards in your deck at their cost, you would need some money left over. Generally, that's what I would advise. Obviously, that with everything I say, there is always exceptions. You can always build a deck that breaks these rules and it will work amazingly, but as a general rule you want more money coming in than you want to spend. So this one, as you can see, for one more money we're getting one more attack twice, so that's doubling the damage on this weapon. This is a better weapon than this one, but again it's I mean, its 2 attack is a pretty average weapon, to be honest. A lot of the weapons don't go above 2, certainly the early cards. I think that's the best you're going to get with the starter decks. So yeah, so I think it's worth paying the extra 1 for the extra damage, because that gets you into the 4 range, and there's a very important 4 health card, which would mean you would take 3 less damage, and that's just from 1 hit. You can kill stuff with 1 hit rather than 2 hits often, so that means you may take no damage from cards if you can kill stuff outright, so I think that extra 1 damage could be significant. Strike Rifle, this is a bit like Battle, except they don't hit you back, so this is a lot better than a Battle. So if you've got, it's generally only worth doing this in a deck where you're going to have a weapon, or you're going to have a high base damage, or both, hopefully. You want to be doing a lot of damage to spend a card, so a card that fills up a space in your deck, and it'll cost you 1 money and 1 slot of the 4 for the round. You want this 1 card to be doing a reasonable amount of damage. So very deck specific reasons for putting that in. So as you can see, this is very similar to the previous card, so you're doing 2 damage, but now you've got 4 durability, so you're going to be doing it 4 times. So for 1 more money we're doing it for 4 hits rather than 2. So you can see the way that they're valuing these cards is 1 money is either worth 1 attack or 2 durability. Yes, and a card slot is worth 1 attack and 2 durability. So that's the way that these cards are valued. Actually, I've just told you that, and that's not a base card, so you can't have that unless you've drawn it. So I did think that was a bit good for a base card. Okay, the Romney Weaklax is a great way to heal quickly. Generally you only want to use this if you're healing at least 5. If you're 25 or lower, the use of this is good. 2 money to heal at least 5 health. I would say try and get the full heal out of it if you can. Is good. 7 health for 2 money, very good. It's a good card. Put it in most of my decks. I have recently replaced this with another card which doesn't cost me money. It has health. It's a minion you attack and he heals for 6, and I prefer that because money cards are where you have to have had a card to get the money in the first place, where with a minion card it's 1 card, 1 slot. So minion cards are more efficient. So that's why I've changed it out. But yes, this is a starter card, so this is a good card. Put in, I would say, all your starter decks. Yep, that's not a starter card. This one up here is expensive for money. You have to be able to build up to that. Now, obviously, you can quite quickly get up to that if you've got this card in your deck. 2 of those and you're up there easy. I've certainly done that. But generally this is not an early card you can play. I would say only put this in decks where it's important that you're building your base damage up. I mean, again, I have got it in my Raptor deck, but that's just because that's the deck it is. It's a base damage deck with a good amount of armor in. But don't necessarily put it in all your decks. It's quite expensive for what it is. It's a lower tier way of getting, like a low priority way of getting the additional attack. So there are other cards I would use over this one if you just need the attack. But if you need lots of them, then you put this one in your deck. Right, next. Rival takes 8 damage. yes, that's a lot of damage, but at this point we're starting to get into expensive cards, so I think starter decks are probably not going to be able to afford to have these in. You have to, I mean, yeah, you can build, if you build a deck that's specifically designed around getting lots of money, then you can start to put in these more expensive cards, but generally I wouldn't go above a 4-cost card in a starter deck, and even that's potentially pushing it. But yes, if you've got the money in your deck, then doing 8 damage to your rival is it's a lot of damage. That's a lot of damage for one card. When you're playing against someone, you're not going to be factoring in the fact that you're going to be losing 8 damage on one card. So, again, I'm explaining cards that aren't base cards. Sorry. Sorry, this one. Dragon Longsword. Yes, but so this, what I was saying about the money is true of this one. As you can see, this one's got 5 attack and 3 base. So it's a really good weapon. I mean, with your base attack of 2, you're already hitting for 7. That's a beefy monster you're hitting, or obviously potentially striking your opponent or battling with your opponent. So this is the sort of weapon you want when you're fighting with your opponent or striking them. Striking does reduce your durability of your weapon as well as the battles, so be aware of that. And then this one, obviously 7 damage, only 2 durability and the 4 health. It's expensive, but obviously now you're doing 9 damage to something with your base attack, assuming you haven't, I mean this is all assuming you haven't even increased your base attack. And there are cards that increase attack and durability of cards, specifically it's Linza, I think. Yeah, Linza's the one that does that. Yeah, but yeah, that's pretty good. But it's quite expensive. So again, probably not in your starter decks. Okay, on to the minions. So this is a really cheap way of increasing your attack. Downside, discard a card. Now that is very a high expense for this card. But then plus increase, as you saw, 4 money to increase your attack is actually about the right price. That's a good price card. So if you remember, the 4 money for the 1 attack. So the fact that we are doing it as a minion, which, as you remember, is a lot more efficient. You don't need to have increased your attack, so this is pretty much a guaranteed win. So really, this discard 1 card is equivalent to 4 money. And remember, 4 money is 2 slots, because you've got, or probably 3 slots, to be honest. So this is very efficient. But discarding this card is massive, especially early on in the game. Late game, it's good. Play this in round 5, it's amazing, because you don't care if you discard cards in the final round. Obviously, playing this when you have no cards to discard, also great. But if you have no cards to discard and you're not in the final round, you need to have card draw that comes after this, or you will not only have 3 cards to play next round. So, yes, playing round 5, brilliant. Playing round 1, powerful, but you will reduce your cards significantly. Remember, you only have 3 cards, 2 or 3 cards. Was it 3 or 4? If you go first, I can't remember. Well, anyway, you haven't got many cards left over after you play your starting hand in the first round, assuming you filled all the slots, which generally you will be. Highly advised you fill all the slots if you can, and it's worth doing. Although don't put cards in for the sake of it. If it's not benefiting you, don't play the card. But yeah, having hardly any cards left at the start of round 1, at the end of round 1 for the start of round 2 is bad. Don't play this in round 1 unless you have card draw to make up for it. But yes, it's a powerful card. It's a cheap card to play. It's a powerful card. It's very tempting to play it in round 1, but you almost never want to do it. The opposite of that, this card gives you a card and a money. Again, almost a guaranteed. It's as good as guaranteed. It's replacing itself and then giving you 1 money. So basically, you're using up a slot in your deck to get 1 money, and at no loss of card in hand. So good. Obviously, another way you could combine that is if you had no cards after you played all your cards to the chapter, you play this one and then you play this one, and it's better than replacing itself. So there's a possibility, because then it will give you the extra card you need for the next chapter, thus giving you the 4 cards, assuming you could play all the 4 cards, which is obviously not far from guaranteed. Right, so this one, again, 2 health, so guaranteed win for 2 money. Good card for getting money. Doesn't do much else, but it's pretty good. This one is not a basic card. This one does 3 damage to your opponent. Doing direct damage to your opponent is always good, so a good card. Not a base card. This one, right, so now we're up to the 3 attack cards. So this is where things start to get interesting, because you have to have increased your damage somehow, either with a weapon or increasing your base attack with a card like this, or the 4-cost one we saw earlier. But once you've got up to 3, you suddenly get into the more powerful cards. Now, of all the 3-cost cards, 3 health cards, I think this is the worst. It's gives you 1 money, so that's okay. Gives you 3 health, that's obviously good. But a lot of the 3-cost cards are better than this. This is a good card, but for a 3-cost card, it's actually mediocre. Okay, not a base card. Not a base card. Okay, so as long as you've got your 3 damage, you can ignore the damage it's doing to you. If you can't get the base damage, then this is too much damage to take for 3 money. So don't, unless you're desperate for the money, do not take the damage on this card. But it's pretty good trade, I would say. 3 for 3 money. Yeah, so assuming that your deck can easily get up to the 3 attack, this is a good card, but it must easily get up to the 3 attack for some of these cards. Okay, this one is a nice weapon and some money. Again, never take this damage. This is not a base card. 4 damage to your opponent and 1 money. Again, never take this damage. But yes, that's pretty good. 4 damage, direct damage to your opponent. Always very nice. Not a base card. This is... So now we're up to the 4-cost cards. Now this card is really powerful. I would say put it in all your decks. And this is an unusual circumstance with this card, in that you're okay playing this card if you only have 2 attack. You're going to take the 3 damage once, and then you're going to take the 2 damage here. So you're going to take 5 damage. Now that may sound like a lot of damage to take, but drawing 2 cards on the first round is really powerful, and the 2 money is also very helpful. So this card may well get nerfed. It's very powerful. It's almost a must. And obviously if you can get your attack up to 4, then this card is overpowered. Because then you're only taking the 2 damage to get 2 cards and 2 money. If you can do that, you are at a huge advantage over your opponent. That is amazing. That card is a must-have in most decks. Okay, now once you get to the 5, oh sorry, that's not even a base card. Haha. Not base card, not base card, not base card. Here we are, base card. Yes. 9 attack. 9 attack. Well, it gives you 1 attack and 5 health. You're pretty much going to have to use a weapon to get up to 9 attack. If you get your base attack up to 9, you have an amazing deck. You're talking late game, at which point do you really need another attack? And 5 health is probably not going to be that significant if you've managed to get your attack up to this. So would I put this in my deck? Probably never, to be honest, but maybe you can find a use for it. But obviously unless you have some way of mitigating this damage. So there are various things you can do to mitigate. I mean, any of these cards where I'm saying, you know, that's a lot of damage, don't take it. There are ways of reducing the damage that a card does. So you might put this in your deck, and then there'll be a card that will say take 4 attack or 5 attack off your next minion. So you take it off this minion, takes it down to 3. If you've got 5 of damage, you only take it once. If you've halved this down to 4, then you've got a profit of 1 health and 1 attack. Then it's worth doing. But if you can't reduce this damage and then do this in 2 hits, or basically you want to be taking around the 5 damage. Well, you can take more than 5 if you've got the health, because obviously this is really powerful. So I would say if you badly need the damage and you can kill it in 2 hits, well, the trouble is if you can kill it in 2 hits, do you badly need damage? Well, you might have the weapon, I guess. You get a weapon, kill it in 2 hits, get the base damage up. Maybe it's worth doing that as well. It's difficult. I mean, because you're losing 3 health for one to take it hit once. Yeah. Well, it's this is a very situational card. Very situational. Then the 13 attack, 13 health. Rival loses 10 health. That is a third of their starting health. Assuming that they were on full health, that is ridiculous. People are never going to be expecting that. But obviously, for you to do this, you're probably going to have 2 or 3 cards to build up to this, to either reduce its attack or its health, or build up your damage enough that you can 2 hit this, because 3 hitting this means you take 12 damage. So you need to do this in 2 hits, otherwise you're taking more damage than they are. It's not worth it. And it's certainly not worth taking 12 damage to do the 10 damage to them and get 2 money. So you need to do this in 2 hits or reduce its attack. And that's all of the general cards. So let's move on to Raptor. So Raptor is the deck that I got to rank 1 with. So I know the most about Raptor in the beta, although I have in the alpha when I worked at Jagex, I did get this. Raptor was the one I started going up with ranks in, but I actually had other classes I was stronger at later on. So the fact that I've only really been playing Raptor since the beta has gone into closed beta, I do have knowledge of other cards. So don't worry, when we get to the other ones, I do know what I'm talking about there as well. So Raptor. Rival takes 2 damage for 2 health, so 2 health again. Pretty much don't have to worry about the damage it does when you're only talking about a 2 health card. Rival takes 2 damage. It's a nice amount of damage considering it's such an easy card to kill. Plus you get 1 money and 1 armor. It's a pretty good card. I would say put that in your decks. So here's a 3 health armor, 3 health minion for 4 armor. This is worth attacking even if you've only got 2 attack, because then you take 1 damage and gain 3 armor. That's a net profit of 3 equivalent of health. I mean, it's armor, but you've lost 1 health but gained 4 armor, so that's a net profit of 3. Worth doing. I mean, obviously if you can get to the 3 it's even better, but yeah, I attack this when I've only got 2 attack. It's worth doing, because its attack is, I mean, basically when the attack's that low, this number has to be pretty high before you have to worry about it. I mean, I have a card that's a 9 health, 1 attack, and as long as my attack is 3, I still attack it. It's not a base card, by the way. Right, so yeah, lose 5 health, obviously very bad, but you gain 3 armor, so that's a net loss of 2. It's okay. Gain 1 attack. Assuming you can hit it in 1 hit, it's okay. It's a slight... I mean, obviously this is... If you remember this card I was talking about before... Can't see it. This was it this one? Yes, it was this one. So you're potentially losing 3 health if you can do 2 hit it to gain 1 attack. So this card here, where you're losing 2 health, the equivalent of 2 health if you can 1 hit it. And obviously this is, you only need 3 to 1 hit it, or the other card you needed 5 to 2 hit. This is the better card. Okay, 5. So the health jumps up pretty quickly on the base cards, obviously, because there's so few of them. Let me just check something. Still... Okay. Vote guard. This is not one you start off. This is one you unlock as you level up. The Voak guard. So, he... gain armor equal to half your rival's gold. So, it's got quite a lot of health. Its damage is high enough that you need to think about it. The problem with this card is you don't know how much gold your opponent's going to have when its effect takes place. The only time you'll know for sure how much gold someone has is if you go first and you play this the first card in the round. There are usually more important cards to play as the first card in the round. Certainly in some decks, there are very important cards to play as the first card in the round. So this is a low priority card for the first card in the round. And just because you... And then how much money are they going to have at the first card of the round? Well, depends who you're playing it. Some people don't get much money at all. In which case, this card is almost useless to you. It gives you 1 money for 5... You need to have 5 attack to get 1 money. That's really not good. And half of their gold? You gain armor equal to half of their gold. You have to be pretty desperate for money. There's... Ozan, you can give your opponent some money, but not a lot of money. And anyway, this isn't Ozan, this is Raptor, so you have no effect over how much gold they've got. So I don't think this is a good card. You're relying anything where you're relying too heavily on the amount of money your opponent has, or where you have no, or where you're relying on something your opponent has that you have no control over, I would say is not a good card. And it's an unlock card as well, so it's not even a basic card. You unlock this at some level, I'm not sure. Okay. Yes, gain armor equal to a rival's total attack. So again, you have no control over this. It's a 5 health. You definitely want to one-shot this or reduce its attack. You get money and armor. You obviously gain more armor based on how much attack they got. So this is better than the previous card in that you're guaranteed 4 armor plus the 1 money. So if you're going to one-shot this, you can also one-shot this. And this one is guaranteeing you 4 armor. Where for you to even got that 4 armor, they'd have had to have 8 money. Not many players carry around 8 money. And then you're potentially getting more but based on their attack. So basing it on their attack is actually really good, because obviously if their attack is high, you need more armor. If their attack is low, the fact you get less armor, not so bad. So this is a considerably better card than this. But you have to one-shot it nonetheless, because obviously 7 attack. But it's still very deck specific. So you have to be building a deck around the fact that this is in your deck. So this is another unlocked with level as your level card. 9 health, 6 attack. The rival loses 2 weapon attack, and the next enemy loses 4 attack. So you're reducing their... If they've got... So they have to have a weapon, and then it will reduce its attack by 2. That's very good, if they have a weapon. My Raptor deck doesn't have any weapons. But most people do use a weapon at some point in their deck. I specifically am not for that, because I know that rules out a lot of people's cards. But yeah, reducing their weapon attack is huge, and that works very well against Limsa. But their next enemy, your next enemy loses 4 attack, so double whammy. You have obviously control over what your next enemy is, so that would be good to play before this one. It needs down to 3 attack, for example. So now you could effectively take that 1 hit from him, and you'd be a net profit of 1 health. Because although you're taking the 3, you're gaining 4 armor. At least, you're actually probably going to gain it. Unless your opponent's doing something weird, you're actually going to gain at least 2 more, because the base attack is going to be 2 at least. And they may have a weapon, they may have increased their attack, so this... Yeah, so worth... Play this card, then discard, assuming that you can kill it. The trouble is, you probably want a card like this to go before this one, so you can attack this one. So it's... At that point, you're chaining 3 cards together, and that's starting to get a bit like, well, you have to have those 3 cards in your hand. It's... yeah, it's... I think the problem is that because this is a high health card, and then you need another card to follow it to take advantage of it, you have to have some way of getting up to that damage, so you have to have a weapon, I would say, or another card like this that's reducing its attack or health. It's very situational. If you can make it work without... I think 2 card combos are fine, but as soon as you start getting into needing a 3 card combo, that is where you're going to lose, because you can't rely on the draw. Even if you have a high draw deck, you are going to struggle to get the 3 cards in your hand at the same time, because very rarely do you have many cards left over between rounds. If with a high draw deck you might, but these cards are going to clog up your deck until you can play them, and obviously you only want to play this one when your opponent has a weapon as well, and so you want to reduce their attack really at the start of the round. So you want this to be in slot 1 really, at which point you have to have built up enough damage to have killed this in 1 hit by the end of the previous round. I'm not convinced by this card. I think you can probably tell. And that's not a base card. So over to the support cards. Lose 3 armor. Your next enemy loses 4 health. So having just looked at some of the higher health cards, you can see how the enemies losing the health is useful. So obviously if by them losing 3 health, you are going to take more than 3 less. That's weird phrasing. If you are going to take 3 or more less damage, no, I can't phrase that in a way it doesn't sound wrong. Then this is a good card. But you have to obviously build a deck with some high health minions in to take advantage of this. Okay, this card. Now this card's an interesting one, because basically you're losing 8 health to gain 7 armor, so you've got a net loss of 1 health. Obviously you have to have the health to be able to lose 8, so this is actually quite a risky card, especially against some decks that go bypass your armor. I think Ariane can bypass armor easily. There's some cards that make you lose 10 health rather than do 10 damage. So these are all things you need to take into account when playing this card. It's obviously a free card, and it gives you 2 money, but it's a risky card. Now, if you combine this with a card that heals you based on your armor, or just heals you in general, it's a better card. If you can heal yourself directly after you play this card is actually okay. So you could use the 2 money to heal yourself, for example. I mean, as you can see, there's a card over here, gain health equal to your armor. Well, you're halfway to paying for that with that. Plus you gain 2 at least. So, assuming that you haven't lost any armor between then and then, which you may do because your opponent may have attacked you, then obviously this is 9 health just based on what armor you had here, so halfway to paying for that, and you're getting 9 health. So that those two cards, that card there followed by that card, assuming you've lost no armor in between, is a good combination. So you definitely want to be healing yourself shortly after this, because at best you're at 22 health. But sometimes if you've built up a lot of armor and then you've got full health and you've got a handful of healing cards, this card is also useful because you can play it and then you can use your healing cards. So it has its usage, but certainly be careful. 8 health is a lot to lose. Right, this card I love this card. Rival takes 3 damage and loses 2 weapon durability. Now this card requires timing. It's quite hard to pull off. This is a great card to put in slot 1 of a chapter, especially if you go first. Because you know that they have a weapon at the end from the previous round. You can see how even if it's got more than 2 durability, this is still worth playing, because that other player, especially if it's only a few more than 2, that other player is probably going to be relying on the fact that they have more than 2 durability. It's not unusual for players to to rely on it. Like, they expect to be able to hit with that weapon 2 times is very common. So if they have a 3 durability weapon, you reduce it down to 2, down to 1. They were expecting to hit twice with that weapon. They only hit once with it. Now they're probably going to have to hit that one of those monsters that they were expecting to hit with that second time, and probably kill an additional time, at least potentially 4 more times. On average, I've seen it happen quite common, where someone's gone from expecting to either 1 shot or 2 shots something to having to hit 4 or 5 times. And even with a very low attack minion, that's a lot of damage. And as soon as that damage goes up, because usually the ones that have high health also have high attack, suddenly someone's gone from having full health to having 2 health. And they're not expecting to be so low on health for the rest of that round, so they potentially kill themselves before the end of the round, or end up at low health at the end of the round. If you can time this right, this is a game winner. It's definitely in my deck. It's key to my deck. There's absolutely no way I would remove this from my deck. It's amazing. Plus, of course, even if they don't have a weapon, you're doing 3 damage to them. And there are cards that do 2 or 3 damage. We've seen some. And just doing the 3 damage alone is good. But try and hold on to these cards until they have a weapon, if you can. It's definitely worth playing on when they've got a 1 or 2 durability weapon. The 3 durability weapon is still worth playing, and a 4. Yes, well, no matter how much durability they've got, in fact, play it, because they may be relying on it. And obviously, if you can play 2 of these, you've just taken 4 off. Very few people get their durability that high. There's only Linza that can increase durability of weapons, and I think most weapons do not start with more than 4 durability. There's probably be some really rare cards that have more than that, but I can't remember. But yes, you can pretty much wipe out a weapon with 2 of these in a row. Right. I think... no, that is a normal card. So this is a starter card as well, apparently. Your next enemy loses 4 attack. I've already explained how these cards are useful. It's situational, obviously, but it's okay. Yes, definitely. If you need to do this, put this in your deck. Now, this card I used to have in my Raptor deck, and it's very helpful. It's a good card. It's a great way of increasing your damage. The problem with Raptor has a lot of armor cards, and generally you will be using those armor cards. So unless you can get this early in the game, or at a point where you have no armor, you are basically doing 5 damage to yourself. Or if I would say it's okay to play this card if you have less than 5 armor. Obviously there are reasons why you wouldn't, like if you only had 1 health. But yes, I would play this if you're not losing the full 5 armor. This is worth playing. It's a good card for starter decks, but at some point this card wants to come out of your deck, because this is quite difficult to work around. When I had this in my deck, I would spend a lot of the game with the dilemma of, well, do I use armor now? I haven't seen either of my monoliths yet. If I armor up and then I draw it, I'm gonna then I'm not gonna want to play it. But I need to increase my damage, and I'm relying on that damage to kill some monsters. So if it's not in the deck, you know that it's not there. You have worked around the fact that you're not going to have this damage in your deck. But if it's in your deck, it's taking up a slot, so you really be working on the basis that this is in your deck. You need to get this early, or work it in a way where your armor is low enough that it doesn't hinder you too much. Play this late in a round, when you haven't been adding any armor, to give your opponent a chance to reduce your armor down to less than 5. That's how I used to try and pull this off if I did have armor. I would like play this as card 4, for example, on a round, and then I would do the other cards that don't give me armor. Maybe, well, I attack my opponent, so I know I'm losing armor that way, and obviously as the chapter progresses, they're potentially doing damage to me to reduce my armor as well. So by the time I get to this card, potentially it's not wasting the full 5 armor. Even if I have a lot of armor at the start of the round, I may not have it at the end. So if you have it in your deck, that's a good way to use this card. Play it early, before you've got armor, or play it late in a round when you might have lost armor. But obviously, if you play it when you've got 5 or more armor, you're basically damaging yourself, and you do not want to do the equivalent of 5 damage to yourself to get the 1 attack. That said, there's always exceptions to these, and maybe that 1 attack will save you more than 5 damage. It's worth doing. Not base card. Heal is, I think... Yeah, maybe. I was going to say I think this isn't a base card, but it must be, because it's not on my list of cards you earn. So the game based on your armor. I mean, I've already said how you can combine it well with this card, but obviously lots of cards give you armor in the Raptor deck, so this is quite nice, and it guarantees you at least 2 health. If you only get 2 health from it, it's too expensive. But if you can play it when you've got some armor, I would say even 2 armor is worth playing, because 4 health for 4 money is okay. And if you can have the chance of having more than that, then yeah, it's a good card. It's in my deck, because then I have built a lot of armor into my deck. This is an earned card. Rival takes 5 damage, costs you 6 money, quite expensive, gains you 1 attack. Well, we already know that there's a 4 to gain 1 attack, so basically for the extra 2 you're doing 5 damage, so it's difficult to get to that amount of money at one time. But if you can, this is a very cheap card for what it does, but the fact that it's doing these 2 things makes it a lot. I mean, this is good value for what it does, but it's an expensive card. But if you have a high income deck, then yeah, put it in. Okay, Linza. So Linza's abilities are good at building up very high durability, high damage weapons. She works very well with weapons, so a lot of her cards will be based around that. So this 1/4 weapon Has its advantages when combined with other cards. It's obviously a great way to get straight up to 6 damage on a minion. But I would say it's more powerful if you can combine it with some of its other cards, like this one over here, where you can increase durability. And and these are all pay for cards, so you could play that and then play that, because you haven't used the durability. So there's one thing you do need to be aware of. You can't use this weapon to attack a minion to increase its durability, because the second you attack it, it uses the durability up and your weapon is gone. So be aware of that. But yeah, so this I would say is either a great way to get a very quick boost to your damage, or works obviously very well with these increased durability cards. Yeah, so it's actually quite well. I think that's a very flexible card, but only if you use it the right way. Increases durability, I would suggest. Her weapon. So this makes your opponent take weapon damage twice the durability. So again, good in combination with this card. You do lose your weapon at the end. So often what I will do is I will combine this with another card, which will come across here, this card. I'll combine it with this card. So I'll build up a high durability, high damage weapon. Play this card, maybe 2 of these cards. And then I will play one of these cards. So then you've got double its, so you've got twice its attack, -3, then twice the attack that's left with, times 2, and then it'll be a low attack weapon at that point with high durability, because this doesn't use its durability up, and then you can just get rid of the weapon and still do a load of damage that way. So those two combine well together. I'll come back to this card in a minute, but it's basically the opposite of this, except it doesn't make you lose your weapon, it reduces its attack. Repurpose. Spend your weapon and gain 10 armor. So actually there was one thing I didn't point out here. This is important. Lose a weapon. You don't need a weapon to lose a weapon. Key. Spend a weapon. You need a weapon to spend a weapon. If you don't have a weapon, this doesn't happen. But gaining 10 armor is a very quick way to get armor. So you could get this weapon and then use this. You never use the attack on it, but you gain 10 armor. Two free cards to gain 10 armor. So it's 2 slots, 2 cards. You'd be unlucky to, if you play these consecutive, to lose this weapon, especially if you do it in the middle of a round. But yeah, it's a good way to get 10 armor. 2 cards, no money. That's pretty good. You probably, I mean, it's a good combination. Obviously you have to get them both in your hand at the same time. But yeah, it's okay. Obviously this is also a good way to finish off your weapon, if you after you've maybe reduced its attack to 0, for example, with this card, then you can obviously spend it to gain your 10 armor. So I've already mentioned this, increases durability to weapons. So weapons like this, or even anything with a high attack, this is worth doing. There is a card that is a rare card, I can't remember what rarity, which makes your weapon's attack equal to its durability. So you could use 2 of these on any weapon. Increase its durability by 3 each time, so 6, and then whatever its durability was at 4, which would have been at least 1, now its attack is going to be equal, so you've got at least an attack 7 weapon, which is obviously very nice. Pretty much almost completely covered this card already actually, but every time you play it you're going to be losing 3 weapon attack, but you're doing twice its attack to your opponent, and you doesn't use up the durability, and you don't get damage back. So very nice card. These cards are all well costed. These are all good cards at the moment. Gain 3 weapon attack. It's very similar to the durability, but for attack, obviously the same cost. You want to do this on a weapon that has at least 2 durability. I mean, if you saw the bit on Raptor, you can see Raptor has a very good way of getting rid of your weapon, so be aware of that when you're playing against Raptor, especially when it's me. So gain 3 weapon attack, nice card. I think that's quite cheap actually for a 3 attack, but yeah, it's good. Oh no, didn't want to move on to a different class yet. We want to move on to the minions. So 2 health, so we know we can do that outright. You gain a 1/3 weapon, which is obviously good. It increases attack later, or it just increases your attack by 1. It's all good. Takes you up to the 3 health minions, which is, as we saw before, can be quite significant. And you get 2 armor, so good card. Yes, good value card. Your weapons gain +1/+1. So assuming that your weapon had at least 2 durability when you attack this, because remember it's going to take you 1 attack to kill it at least. It'll increase its attack and its durability. So it replaces the durability of a 1 hit you should be using to kill this. But it also increases its attack and you gain money. So yes, good card. But do not, I was going to say, do not 2-hit this to kill it, because you're using 2 durability to gain 1. It's not worth it. But generally, you would have to have reduced your base attack, and you're using a 1 attack weapon before you would have to take 2 attacks to hit this. So generally, this is always going to die into 1 hit. So you're good. It replaces its durability as long as you had 1 durability left over after you killed this. It's interesting, actually, they have a good system in place where these cards will say over them if you won't have a weapon when you get to this point in the game. So be aware of that. If that highlights, at one time I saw it and I thought, no, that's not right. It was right. It's not a bug. I have not seen this bug out yet. It's been correct. The one time I thought it was a bug, it wasn't. If it says that you won't have a weapon, it's right. So here's another 4. This is a 4 durability 1 attack for the 2 main. If you've got the attack, if you can get your attack up to 4, which for Linda should be quite easy because weapons are abundant in her decks. Then yeah, this is a good way to replace your weapon. Use up the last durability on a weapon, for example, to get a new one, and you get some money out of it. So yes, nice card. This, I think, is an earned card. No, apparently not. Let me just check. Oh, actually, this is an earned card. Just worth pointing out. As was repurpose. If I go back here. Sorry, I meant to point out these. This is an earned card as you level up. And this is... not this. This is an earned card as you level up. Barrel chest. Weapon gains +2/+2. Very good if you can do it in 1 hit. If you can do it in 2 hits, you'd need to reduce its attack. I would highly recommend not doing it in 2 hits unless you can reduce its attack. But doing it in 2 hits is fine because it's as long as you still have the weapon afterwards. But you must reduce its attack because if you do it in 2 hits, the durability is replaced and you'll increase the attack of your weapon. But you do not take 8 damage to do that. Not worth it otherwise. Those are all random cards. Right. So next, Ariane. So Ariane's abilities are card draw. That's right. Ariane is card draw. Cards. Sorry, I had to remember what she was. So she is good at doing healing and damage based on number of cards in her hand. So this is an earned card as you level up, but I would put it in every deck once you've got it. Draw 2 cards for 2 attack, for 2 health. Yes, good. Put it in. Card draw important in all decks, but especially in Ariane. Gain 3 temporary attack for 3 damage. I don't like the temporary attack cards personally. I can see how they're useful and they are very situational. Like, it's a great way to gain a temporary boost of 3 attack. You need that extra attack to only hit to reduce the number of times you need to hit something. But there's some things you need to know about temporary attack. One, it affects you from the moment that you beat this card. So from the turn where you complete this card, if you go first and then your opponent attacks you when they go second, they get hit by this temporary attack as well if they battle you. And then it also carries over to the next. Keeps active until you attack something. So it will stay active until you've attacked something. And it stays active until the end of the round that you attack something. So if you hit something multiple times, this temporary attack will keep there every time you attack that card. And it will stay there until the end of that round. So if your opponent battles you at any point between when you've completed this card and the round you attack something, they will get hit by this temporary attack. The moment that you hit something, at the end of that round, that temporary attack goes away. So if someone battles you before you hit the thing you were expected to hit, that temporary attack, if it's not on that round that they hit you, if it's on a later round, like a later phase of the chapter, that attack is gone. So be wary. Also, and this is really important, temporary attack does not carry over to the final battle. Does not carry over to the final battle. The final battle, your temporary attack disappears. Very important. I've seen a few people think it carries over, and surprisingly enough, they lost. Yeah, so you can see there's quite a few upsides to temporary attack, and there's quite a few downsides to temporary attack. I don't personally use it. It's a bit too risky, in my opinion. Okay, 5 health, and the rival takes 5 damage. Yes, if you can get to the 5 health. Certainly wouldn't want to kill him in more than 2 hits. Well, actually maybe 3 hits. Yeah, actually you could 3 hit this one, because if you 3 hit this one, you're going to take 4 damage. They're going to take 5 damage, but you're also going to, so you're getting you're taking 1 less damage than them, and you're getting 2 money. So actually, you could hit this with your base attack. Obviously, ideally, you want to, if you can get up to just that 1 more damage, you can do this in 2 hits. You're only taking 2 damage, they're taking 5, and you're getting 2 money. That's great, and if you can get all the way up to 5, this is amazing, because you're taking no damage, they're taking 5, and then so this is actually quite a good card. As the asphyxiate card, I'm just going to say as I pass over this one, the asphyxiate cards are quite good cards actually. I can't remember what they did. I only played it once to see what it did. Nope, I can't remember. I just remember it being a good card. It's a cheap card. It's quite powerful, but then obviously it's quite hard to pull off. But anyway, that's just by the by. It's not a base card. 10 health. 10 health. It's a lot of health. If any deck can pull off a 10 health attack, Ariane is it, because she's very good at building up weapons with high attack. Remember, you only need a weapon to get to 8 before you can one-hit this with your base attack, and that's assuming you haven't built up your base attack in any other way. So, base attack is really good actually. I think the most efficient way to build up attack. It's really hard to do, but it's really powerful. But anyway, yes, rival loses 6 health, so if you can two hit this, brilliant, because you're gaining money again and only taking 3 damage. If you can 3 hit this, so you'd need 4. So to 3 hit this, you'd need 4 attack. You're taking the same amount of health damage, but you're gaining 3 money. Now, obviously, there are times when you potentially are happy taking more damage than your opponent. If, for example, it's going to kill them, that would be a good time. You know, as long as it doesn't kill you first. If this leaves you with 1 health, but it kills them, great. If you have to take 5 hits to hit this, and you take 12 damage, but they only have 6 or less health left, do it. Especially if you go first, and you can guarantee it's not going to kill you. Because if you don't go first, you are taking a risk. But the 3 money is also nice, so yes, try and 2-hit this if you can. Or even, well, yeah, if you can, obviously kill it outright, but that's asking a lot. But yeah, if you can 2-hit this, it's worth doing, definitely. Even 3 hitting is fine. I probably wouldn't go for 4 hitting this though, unless you really need the money, because you are then taking 3 more damage than your opponent is. Did I do this? No, I didn't. Right. Alchemy. Let me just check. Did I... Hold on. Let me just say... So this was a earned card. Yeah, that's the earned card. I can't remember if I said... Okay, so this is an earned card. Okay, yep, this is an earned card. You have to spend your weapon, which means you have to have a weapon, but you gain 5 gold. It's okay if you've got a weapon that you're going to get rid of anyway, or you don't need. So, yeah, it's okay. It's a good way to get money quick, but you do have to have a weapon. So that's why you're getting 2 more gold than the general card, because you have to have had a weapon in the first place. Wind Strike. Rival loses 3 health. Yep. 0 attack. Yep. I mean 3 health. Yes, that's nice. Yeah, it's a nice card. Yeah. Why? If you've got space in your deck, put it in. Wizard Mind Bomb. You may think, oh, losing 2 health, that's a lot. I know I have to pay 1 money for it, but 3 guards. Very good. Remember, this class, we haven't seen the cards yet, but they can heal or do damage based on the number of cards in their hand. So this, you can easily counteract the health you've lost with a heal card, and you've got more cards to choose from your next round. It's just, this is so worth doing. Definitely, this is one of the best cards in the game. Card draw is really, really powerful. Obviously, don't do this in a place where it's putting you too much at risk. But at the start of the game, in chapter 1, almost a must play. I would say play this. This is an earned card. From leveling up, for each card in hand, gain 2 health. See? So play this. Cost you 4 money. You've gained 3 cards, and you've gained at least 6 health minus 2. So you've gained 4 health at least, assuming you had no other cards in hand, which you probably did. Good combination. Does cost you 4 money though. But yes, this, if you can get your hands up to... Now, if your hand ever exceeds 7 in a chapter, you are wasting cards at your next draw. But that said, rounds where you're going to be healing yourself or doing damage based on your hand size, it's okay to be wasting cards. Generally don't go above 7 unless you're playing one of these cards that's based on your hand size. Because it's hard enough to get the card draws. It's easy with Ariane, but it's hard enough to get the card draws without wasting the free card draws at the end of each chapter. Earth Blast. Rival takes damage equal to your hand size. Very expensive. You do need to build a deck around this card if you have it in. So, and if you're building a deck around a card, put the maximum number in. Put 2 in. Always put 2 in if you're building a deck around a card. But 8 money expensive. So you need to build your deck in a way where you can build up the money, and you get the card draws, a lot of card draw, and then you can, on that turn, you're aiming to get 10 cards, and then play this card, because then you do 20 damage. For every card short of that, you're doing 2 less damage to them. So a high number of cards. If 7 is fine, if you only want to get to 7, you don't want to waste the card draw, fine. That's still 14 damage. 14 damage for 8 money. That's pretty good. At some point this becomes not efficient. That point is, oh, I don't know. I'd have to have a look. Oh, I can't remember. It does become inefficient at some point. I can't remember how much. Let's have a look at some of the general cards for damage. Rival takes 8 damage, see? So that would be if you had a hand of 4, it's costing you 5. And here, so 8 damage for 5, you got 3 more, so that's another, say, well, 3/5, so another 3. No, it's not. It's not. We'll say another 4 damage, just to be generous. It's a card specific, so let's say it's 5 because it's class specific, so it's going to be more powerful. So let's say 10 damage. You need 5 cards in hand to make this worth playing. Yeah, 5 cards in hand to make this worth playing. More than 5, definitely play it. 7 is probably optimal, and if you think you're going to get them to really low health, then go above 7. 7 to 8 to 10 to get the maximum out of this card. Okay, finally, Ozan. Ozan is a money-based class. He does healing and damage based on the amount of money you have or your opponent has. So you can get money really easily. So let's see how he does that. Darren Lightfinger. Yes, he is an earned card. You have to level up to see this card. Discard 1 card. Your next support costs 4 or less. So the support cards are the blue cards. No, blue cards, that's what I'm looking at, sorry. Your next support card costs 4 less, sorry, and you gain 1 money. It's a good way to get to the expensive support cards. Gaining the money is also good, so yeah, it's okay. Again, just put it in decks where you need him. Don't put him in decks where you don't need him. I mean, obviously, ideally you want to be putting support cards in that cost 4 or more to take advantage of him. I wouldn't suggest using him on a 2 cost card, for example. That would be pretty wasteful. But if you really need that 2 cost card and it's your only option, maybe. But generally I would try and get him on the expensive cards. Certainly 3 or more. Ling the Assassin. So let me just check something. Yeah. Okay, Ling the Assassin. Rivals take damage equal to half your gold. Lose half your gold. So here you go. You see, this is a great way to do damage to your opponent. So the Ozan has some cards that double your gold. So halving your gold isn't actually so bad. He has very good ways of building up money in general. I mean, so yes, this is a great way to do direct damage to your opponent. I have seen decks where, not since the beta's opened, so I assume these are still possible, but I have seen decks where someone has got to in excess of 60 gold. At which point, unless you've got armor, you're dead, basically. So yes, good card to build a deck around. Rival gains 2 gold. Not good. You gain 4 gold. Yes, that's good. So This is obviously better than the base card for you, but you're also giving your opponent some gold. Now it's gold they're not expecting. It's gold they won't be able to use until next round. Because you can't play cards if you haven't got the money. Well, actually that's not true. You could play the card, but people won't be playing cards if they weren't expecting the gold. But the only time I have seen people do that, and I have done this too, is if you have literally nothing else to do on round 5, people put the gold card in anyway, in case if you're playing against a no-zone, because sometimes you get given gold. But generally people don't spend gold unless they've got it, because it highlights it saying you will not have enough money for this. So generally giving people gold is fine. People might do that on earlier chapters if they need to get rid of the card as well. In which case you could potentially mess things up for them, because some cards that you pay for have a negative effect on yourself as well. But generally they're always positive. But yes, giving people gold that they aren't expecting. Their deck won't be built to use the amount of gold that they'll end up having. So but the downside is people getting the gold might have had a problem with gold before you gave it to them, and now they won't. You're giving them that extra boost that they would to their flow of cards, so you probably want to steal it back as soon as you can, which I'll come to in a later card. But yes, for money, good quick way to get money, so it's okay to play this. Giving people the opposing players gold, you know, it's not ideal, but it's okay. It's okay. Discard 1 card. Your next enemy loses 5 health. Well, that's if it's really important for your opponent your next enemy to lose 5 health. This is okay. If you're building a deck where this is important, put it in. Generally, don't put it in just for a card to put in though. It's not a great card unless you need it. Because the discarding a card, as we've already said, drawing a card is really powerful, so discarding a card is really expensive. Snapshot. Rival takes damage equal to your weapon attack. So obviously, no, Ozan can have weapons, obviously, because they were general weapons. But he isn't known for weapons, so you can't like increase an attack or durability of a weapon. So you're based on the attacks of the weapons you can get. So yes, it doesn't use up the durability of the weapon. So yeah, it's quite a nice card. Notice these are all free cards. Yeah. So yeah, it's okay. It could be very powerful if you build a deck correctly. But yeah, if you have put it in a deck if you've got some good weapons in. I wouldn't use it on a weapon that only had 1 attack in the first place. But yeah, put it in. This is an earned card as you level up. Rival loses health equal to half of their gold. You could give them some gold, make sure they've got some. Play 2 of these. They've got 4 gold. Now you're guaranteeing you're doing 2 damage to them, plus however much gold they had anyway. Cost you 2 money. It's okay. Yes, I mean, these 2 cards are good cards. You build up your money, you build up their money. Right, finally the minions for Ozan. Desert Snake. This is an earned card. Lose 3 health, so you can easily kill him, even if you've reduced your base attack. You can easily kill him. So yeah, you lose 3 health, but they lose 5 health. So yes, it's okay. Basically it's it's worth pointing out this is health, not damage. So this goes straight to your health pool, bypassing any armor. Yes, so that's very nice. Bypassing armor is a very powerful thing, but it bypasses your armor as well as theirs. So it's a good card though. Gnome Guard, 3 money for pretty much a guaranteed kill. So yes, this is easily as powerful as the card, the Ali Morrison, easily, because you're pretty much guaranteed. Well, yeah, you're guaranteed to kill for 3 money. So yes, good card. 3 attack minions. No, that's not a base card. 4 attack minion for 4 damage. Rival gains 3 gold, so it's another way of giving people gold. Oh, this is a card as you level up, by the way. You gain 4 temporary attack and 2 money. So you gain 1 less money than them. It's good, but sometimes you want to give people money, as we saw from one of the previous support cards. You can do damage to them based on their money. Temporary attack, as you say, as I said before, I'm not a huge fan of temporary attack, but it has its usage. Doesn't seem like a great card to me, but you know, again, it's very specific to your deck. If you build a deck that needs this, you can take advantage of this, then yes, it's a good card. Still 2 gold from your rival. 5 health, 1 money. Good way to get that gold back you gave them before the end of the round. So you could give them the gold, do damage based on their gold, steal the gold back. Yep, that's certainly a nice tactic. And also you're gaining 2 money off them. So assuming they have the money still, which if you put it to them in the same chapter, if you steal it off of them in the same chapter you gave it to them, they will have. Unless they do that weird thing where they play a card just on the off chance you give them money, which is such a rare occurrence. Then, yeah, as long as you know they're going to have the money, you're going to gain 3 money. So this is pretty good. Obviously, they lose 2 money, you gain 3 money. It's yeah, it's a good card. It's quite a high attack, and his Ozan isn't known for his attack. A bit like building up having a weapon or building up his base attack. But if you can do that, then yes, it's go for this card. Yeah, sorry, I've gone for all the cards you weren't now. Right, so 5 health, 8 attack. You definitely want to be one-shotting this card. Take 4 damage, double your gold. So even if you don't take this damage, you are taking the 4 damage, but you are doubling your gold. Yes, very powerful if you are combining, then going to do this. So you could double your gold. There's one way of doing it. It's not the only way, but it's the way you can do it from the base cards. So yes, imagine that. Imagine doing that twice. Double your gold, double your gold. Yes. Would have taken 8 damage yourself to do it though. So you would want to wait a heal, and you need to already be at 5 attack, or reduce its attack. Okay. That's all the base cards. At a later time I might go through some of the cards, the non-base cards. I covered some of them accidentally in this video, but mostly I skipped over the non-base cards. So I'll probably do those based on characters at a later date when I have a bit more time. So thank you for watching.